What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 56 of the Yard Podcast. I'm your host, Randy.
And I'm your host, Konu.
And as always, we have our producer, Ray, with us. Great last week of Dodgers baseball. Very quickly, tonight's game, we've got the Dodgers 23-18, continuing the series against the D-backs. Game 2, 18-24 for the D-backs. We've got Urias on the mound. The pitcher is yet to be announced for the Diamondbacks. It is the first time facing them in 2021. Obviously, we played them last night. More importantly, we are 5-1 so far on this homestand. Shout out to Konu for basically calling that, saying we were going to go 6-3 after that long, however, God knows how long that skid has been over the last couple weeks. But
I think they put it up on Sportsnet LA. It was like 4-14.
Yeah, that's gross. So as long as we split the series with the D-backs, your prediction is correct. I mean, even if for some reason they go 5-4 at this point, I'll take it. I don't think that's going to happen. Teams playing really good baseball, even with a ton of injuries. But I feel like the very first thing we have to talk about is the first thing every Dodger fan has been talking about for a couple days now is, of course, Albert Pujols is now in Dodger blue. I never thought I'd see the day. I remember sitting at my house and I got the notification and I just like stared at my phone. I was like, there's no fucking way this is happening. Like at first it was a complete shock thing. I know you were a big Pujols fan growing up, so I feel like your reaction was probably a little bit better. I'm kind of curious as to like your immediate reaction, because obviously we talked about it. But
okay,
like
so I was with some friends and we were just kind of kicking back, relaxing. And then you sent me the text message. I checked my phone. I kind of just looked at it like, wait, is she serious? Even though you don't, when you say things, I always think you're joking, but you're never joking. So I was like, wait, is she serious? Then I went to go look and I was like, oh, wow. So like I was in complete shock, but teenage me was super excited, being a big fan of Pujols. And then I got a little confused. So I was like, okay, I'm not sure I quite understand it. But like after a minute, I got excited again because I mean he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Even if it's 5-6 years too late, it's still cool to see a first ballot Hall of Famer in a Dodgers uniform. And then I went to look at his baseball savant percentiles, and it was a lot better than I thought it was. There was quite a lot of red in there. I'm not dark red like I don't know, a Tatis Jr. or Acuna or something, but it was some good reds in there. So yeah, he's 41. But I think they said on the broadcast yesterday, this is the first time he's been fully healthy in a while.
it's
And
also
I,
like
I think,
I think one of his best contact years he's had in
yeah.
like 4 or 5 years, something like that. So hey.
So it's clear he's still got some juice in his bat, and when everybody returns, he can be that now right-handed power bat off the bench. I can't really be mad at that. Plus, I would much rather have Pujols hitting than Rayleigh, Noisy, and Peters. No disrespect to those gentlemen, it's just Pujols is probably a better hitter at this moment.
Yeah, my reaction was entirely different. I was like, I at first was not happy about it. And it was just basically because I felt like, okay, what are we doing here? What's the main point? Like, I love the idea of the mentorship is huge for the young guys, but trying to chase after a title, I'm thinking in my mind, like, is that really what we're doing? Then the more I thought about it and the more time, like the last couple days went on, I actually got really excited about it. I grew up hating Pujols, not from a like you suck, you're not a good person kind of hate, but like a you
The
kicked our
Cardinals killed the
ass
Dodgers, yeah.
all the time as a
Yeah.
Cardinal, so I hated you. Like there aren't many players I will ever say I hate just because they did good against us, because I don't like to do that. But like Pujols was one of those guys that he just beat the shit out of us all the time. I was like, yeah, no thanks, I don't like you. But I have like the utmost respect for the guy. He's a great human being. He's, like you said, first ballot Hall of Famer. Hey, can't wait for him to put that Dodger hat on his Hall of Fame plaque. Totally kidding,
It's happening.
but we all know it's definitely, well, better not be an Angels hat. I think we all know he's going in with that Cardinals hat
Yeah.
on. But
Cardinals, yeah.
yeah, it was some exciting news, because you think like, hey, this is a guy that, first of all, you look at what's going on in Anaheim. A lot of players aren't going there, and like the whole Anthony Rendon thing's going there never made much sense to me. Mike Trout wanting to stay there long term, like I get it, the money's there, but at the end of the day, we always talk about, is it the money or the winning? Obviously, I will never blame a guy for taking the money. Take care of your family, do what's best for you. But it's like, when you're Albert Pujols and money doesn't mean anything anymore, and you know you are slow, like you're on your way out at some point, like how much does it mean to be sitting in that Angels dugout every night, knowing you're really not chasing after anything but personal records? I kind of think like coming to LA could be a decent spark for him. Now, do I think we're gonna like see the old machine? No, I mean that would be naive to think that. But I still think he can bring some of those moments, and like you said, a right-handed bat against left-handed pitching. I think that'll be big. Robert said he's getting the start at first base tonight, and
Damn. Okay.
it kind of it works with all the injuries we have. The one thing that stood out to me the most though was what Pujols said in his press conference yesterday. He said he never told the Angels he wanted to play every day. So there's some, like always in baseball, some mixed communication going on between the player level and the higher up level. The Angels are over here telling us he demanded more playing time. He's saying that's not true. Does it really matter? No. I am a little interested in it though. He said his role as a Dodger will be whatever the team wants it to be for him. Again, I think when you play around a winning team, you're willing to sacrifice a little bit more, knowing you're going to be around that winning mentality, a championship caliber team that has, I mean, a very, very good chance at winning. On the last year of his contract, they're only paying him 400, like 20 grand, something like that. Angels have to pay the 30 million. So, I mean, hey, if it works out and he is producing enough to stay on the team, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's exciting. What was your first reaction when he came up to the plate and Dodger blew last night, his very first at bat? Because like I kind of just stared at the TV and was like, this might be some of the, because he's worn red his entire career. Like it's not just, it's been like a 21 year career for him. It's not like he was wearing a different, like it's always been red, and he just came out decked out in blue. And I was like, you look good. He looked good.
Does look good, yeah.
Yeah, you can never go wrong. And then that.
It's definitely gonna take some use. It's gonna take some use to get used to. Take the time to get used to. But oh yeah, like I said, he looked good. It was a little weird at first, but when he came to the plate, I just had like I felt like a teenager. I just had like this big smile on my face, and I was like, okay. And then he hit the ball, and I was like, oh, he just got under it. If this was a few years ago, he might have parked that 10, 15 rows up the bleachers, but it was still fun.
Off the bat, I kind of like had that, what we all do as fans. I think in the moment of the excitement, like you can usually tell when a ball is off the bat, when it's gone or not. And like off the bat, I was like, holy shit, no way he did not. And then like a half second later, I'm like, okay, you could tell off the bat that he got it. He just got too far under it. Yeah. Cause I think Joe Davis said it came off the bat at like 101 or something.
Yeah, he hit it well.
So that was exciting to me.
I think for me, it was weird because I don't think I've smiled so much before in a game, because usually I just sit there kind of stone faced, just going through notes and watching intensely. But like I smiled a lot just because every time they show him in the dugout, he was like talking to Bueller, he was talking to Lux, he was talking to Turner, he was talking to everybody. He had a smile on his face, like he was having fun, and I was like, I love you already. Did
you see how happy that man was when Lux got that double and he was doing the head pat? Like that dude had the biggest smile on his face. And then the Dodgers did the whole post that said, "You're like one of us. And it's a picture of him doing, or the video of him doing that. And that was great. Like, I think Oral Hershiser and Joe Davis, they touched on it on well during the broadcast. Like you could see Pujols talking to Bueller and probably saying something along the lines like, dude, your stuff is good. Like, don't go out there. Don't nibble, like throw. I've seen you throw. I've been in there. Probably. I'm sure he's faced him in the box before at some point in the Freeway series. And it's cool because it is. And you were right. You texted me yesterday and they actually confirmed it on the game about Will Smith wanting to have the video. He was the one who did the video for Will Smith for the World Series, and like now he's protecting him in the lineup, or batting behind him in the lineup, and so it's like it's got to be one of those.
Hit a home run, had a double, and I was like, okay, Will, I see you.
Yeah, like man, if that gets Will Smith going too, like they're all playing, and some of them are playing in front of role models, guys they were watching grow up. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're all still watching them now, but yeah, it's exciting.
The crazy part is, and I think I saw it all over Twitter, is when he singled to drive in Mookie Betts. Just think, just even a few years ago, would you ever think?
No,
drives in Mookie Betts?
I tweeted out something along the lines of like, I never thought there would be the day outside of an all-star game that I heard Albert Pujols drives home Mookie Betts. Like, Albert Pujols of the Los Angeles Dodgers drives home Mookie Betts of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Like, it might be the two weirdest thing, like two legends from like 2 years ago that you would have thought are like cemented in their team's history. Everything are now like both playing with our team and driving home runs and doing the thing. So it's pretty cool. It's a ton of fun. I'm excited to see what he does. I'm trying to keep my expectations low because that would be
when this whole Pujols thing happened, after you sent a text, I also got a text from a friend, and he was like, "I'm just here before the Dodgers turn Pujols into Nelson Cruz."
Oh man,
that's not likely, but the fact that every time the Dodgers sign someone or get somebody, fans from other teams immediately think that the players are either going to turn it around or they're going to become someone no one ever saw. So I think that speaks volumes of the front office and the Dodgers development. Also, I think it's just an hilarious running joke at this point, because literally every time the Dodgers get someone, they're like, "Oh, great, now he's going to become this and this and this." And I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a feeling that how it is. Yesterday during the press conference, I had tweeted out something like Artie Moreno like runs the disaster organization down in Anaheim, something like that. And an Angel fan had commented and was like, "Thanks for taking Pujols off our hands." I was like, "Oh, no problem." I was like, "You don't pay much attention to what Dodgers do with older players, do you? Or like players coming in who have kind of passed their prime." And like, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm not expecting him to come up and do anything crazy, but hey, if he bats like 250, has some big pinch hit moments, something like that, hits lefties well, like I'm all for it. We need it. And that kind of segues.
If he could do what he did even last night, plus a little more, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he didn't look bad. He's just not. He's the perfect kind of DH candidate. But hey, he was Gold Glover over there at first. Like you said, Hall of Famer all around. The guy can play. He's got the IQ, the mentorship. So it works out.
And
everywhere.
apparently, he still got good bat speed. Somebody was saying that he catches up to like high velocity fastballs pretty well too. So that could be something the Dodgers could use.
Yeah, never hurts to have that. But it does segue us into our next thing. The Pujols signing looked like a much bigger, better signing after Saturday night's game when Corey Seager took a pitch off the right hand and immediately left the game. Before the game, well, actually, when the game was over, they announced he had a fracture in his hand. They did say he won't need surgery, which is huge. He has a fracture in his fifth metacarpal. That felt like a huge punch to the gut. I will say finding out that the fracture did not need surgery was like a huge relief, because they're saying, my guess is somewhere between like maybe 5 to 8 weeks. I don't think it'll be 4 to 6. I don't think they're going to rush him back, especially if the team can win enough games without him. But that was a huge blow to a team that like looked like they were just starting to figure it out in the lineup as a whole. Seager not looking.
And his bat was just getting going too.
Yeah, it's not great. I will say, I don't want to say I'm excited because I never want to see a player get hurt. I will say I'm looking forward to seeing Lux's glove take over for Seager at shortstop and see what kind of plays are made that Seager wouldn't be making. And I feel like we kind of saw that with that barehanded play against Jazz Chisholm on Sunday's game when Lux made that barehanded grab and threw him out at first base. I personally do not think that is a play Corey Seager makes. Just don't think he even has the arm strength to make that kind of throw that quickly like Lux did. So yeah, this one is tough. If Lux can hit, it won't.
Little struggle yesterday though. Well,
yeah.
the first one wasn't going to matter. The second one though, he should have had. The one hit by Escobar, he definitely should have had.
Yeah, the first one, I don't
Even
think
if he had no play,
gets
at
either
least
guy. The second one, he should have kept it in the infield. At least
to prevent the run.
Yeah, it looked like his
But
cleat
he had an
got
RBI
stuck.
single, so maybe he was like, "I'm gonna pull a Corey Seager. I won't get the out, but I'm gonna drive in a run."
Yeah, he's gonna contribute that way. Hey, if Lux keeps hitting the way he's hitting, taking over for Seager, I don't want to say he's gonna just come over and do it. We all know what Seager can do when he's healthy with a bat. But it'll be enough to at least cover, I think, as long as the rest of the lineup continues to produce. But with that said, let's kind of jump into these games over the last week. It's weird. We've seen up and down pitching. Like we saw Buehler dominate last night, but in that game on Tuesday against the Mariners, just didn't look kind of as great as he had this year. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. He gave up 3 home run on 91 pitches. I kind of feel like we all know that's Bueller's thing. You're not going to sit around and rack up a bunch of hits against him. He's going to walk someone's going to get on with a single, and he's going to give up a home run. And this was actually, the Dodgers were down at one point 4-1. This was their largest comeback win of the season. So they came back and won 6-4. I think I told you, I want to say I know for a fact I put it on Twitter, but that home run from Lux in the bottom of the 8th to give the Dodgers a lead, I feel like was the biggest turning point for this offense that we've waited for. Kind of that big moment that hypes up everybody, gets the fan base going. The stadium was loud as hell. It was his first home run of 2020.
So it was his house.
Yeah. Yeah, it took everything in me not to yell, because it was like midnight here, or almost 1 a.m., something like that. And
I definitely woke everybody up.
Yeah, it was insane. I loved it. I again stared at the TV. It was his first home run of 2021. Could not have come, I feel like, at a better moment, considering where this team was at. Earlier in the day on the podcast, I had said we were still waiting to see his first home run of the season. So I'm going to take credit for that because I want to. I have nothing to do with it, but I'm still going to take credit because that's what we do as fans. But it was kind of a weird game all around. It was the first time since 2018 Buehler had given up 3 home runs in a game, and freaking Garrett Clevenger picked up his first big league win. So we kind of just had it all in that game.
When the game first started, I was like, oh, here we go with this shit again. And then I think it was Seager hit the 2-run single, and I was like, okay, creeping back in. And then in that inning when they got 2 on, I was like, was it 2 outs? I think it was 2 outs. And I was like, okay, Lux, this is when you usually come up big with hits. This is when you hit the best. And as soon as he hit it and he looked at the dugout and said, let's fucking go, I was like, oh my God, did he really do it? Mm-hmm. Like, I was trying. So, and then once I saw the ball land in the stands, I exploded.
Yeah, it was
fantastic.
That right there was like a 2020 Dodger baseball moment in my mind. There were 2 outs and Taylor singled. So the first 2 guys of the inning out. Taylor singled, Beatty comes in, or no, Beatty was hit by the pitch, and then Lux come up and does his thing. And it's like, it's one of those things where it was every single guy was coming through and taking advantage of opportunities, and you never had to rely on one guy. And we were all kind of waiting, I think, on that moment when we could say, hey, Lux did it. We can rely on him. And I feel like that was that moment. I mean, 106.5 off the bat. He crushed it. It was demolished. It was so much fun. His reaction after the game, he talked about the tight pants, how he wears Walker's tight pants on Walker's start days. However, he's been wearing them ever since, and they seem to be working for him. One thing I wanted to point out in that game, I don't know if you've noticed, but you mentioned Kyle Seager hit the home run, and then Corey Seager had the 2-run base hit later in the game. It's kind of funny if you ever pay attention when we play the Mariners. It's like when one of the brothers does well, the other one does. Because if you remember, there was that game I think last year where Kyle hit the home run, then Corey followed it up. It's funny that like whenever they both kind of, when they play each other, it's like if one has a good game, the other has a good game. If one doesn't show up, the other one doesn't show up.
They can't show each other up. They have to.
Yeah, good siblings.
Kyle's still got to be like, I'm still the older brother here.
Yeah, Kyle's like, I'll let you have some, but you're not. I'm gonna hit a home run. You're gonna just single, but you can bring in some runs.
They both drove in too, so
yeah,
it's a wash.
Yeah, that was a good game. Jansen came in top of the 9th, 1-2-3 inning, 2 strikeouts, picked up his 6th save. So Dodgers were looking really good after that. Again, though, it was only one game. We've kind of seen them do this a couple times over this skid where they'd win a game, and a lot of them were more blowouts than this one was, but they'd win a game and then they'd just fall apart the next day.
But I think this one felt different because the other games were more blowouts. So this game was actually like,
this was a comeback win. Yeah. It was much, there was actual emotion to it, where like all the other games when they won, they were up like 7-0, like an inning or 2 into the game. And so you're like, okay, cool. Like we know we're winning this one. Just don't fuck it up, bullpen. And the bullpen's been looking pretty good. But Wednesday, very quickly before that game, earlier in the day, May had posted a picture of him after successful TJ surgery. We knew he was supposed to have that on the 11th. So he posted a picture of that on Wednesday. I just realized I meant to tell everyone what today was. And if you don't know and you listen, it's Tuesday. May 18th. I kind of forgot to let everyone know what day it is because I realize a lot of times we talk about dates and I never actually tell everyone what the date is that they're listening to this. So 6 days ago, May posted that picture of him. Awesome news, successful TJ surgery. The Dodgers that day, talk about a bunch of hits coming all at once, announced that Edwin Rios would have season-ending surgery for a partially torn labrum in his right shoulder. He is expected to be ready
That explains a lot.
Yep, expected to be ready for spring training next year. It makes sense. Players don't want to blame stuff on injuries. They don't like to talk about it. It's why no one ever found out about the Joe Kelly surgery for freaking months until after it happened. So hoping for a successful surgery for him and that he's back because we all know when he's healthy what he is capable of doing in that lineup. Some more positive news, not surrounding any of that, but the Dodgers did reach their 85% vaccination threshold either on Tuesday or Wednesday. So if you've seen them not wearing masks in the dugout or posting pictures going out to dinner, it's because they passed that threshold and they can now do that safely. So that's awesome. One last thing to not really stress about, especially with the team heading to freaking Texas next week. I'm very glad they have their vaccinations because that place does not seem to care about anything. And last thing I want is the Dodgers having to deal with having COVID slow down their season. So that was Wednesday, May 12th. The Dodgers were playing the Mariners. We had Urias on the mound versus Dunn. Dodgers, they made that game look really easy. Dunn was actually a pretty decent pitcher. Dodgers worked him pretty well. Urias, really good day on the mound, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earn, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts on 87 pitches. He had dominated the Mariners his last time out on April 20th. He struck out 11 and only gave up the 1 hit. So not as many strikeouts, but very similar this time up. He actually was solid until the top of he was solid the entire game, but the Mariners didn't even get a base runner until the top of the 5th with 1 out. And unfortunately, that's when they got their first run across, but that was the only one they got all game. Dodgers offense, just very good game for everyone. And that was actually the second game in a row. So that was the first time the Dodgers had scored 6 runs in back-to-back games for the first time since April 15th and April 16th. So it had almost been a month since the Dodgers had scored 6 runs in back-to-back games, and they went on and did it to the Mariners. So that was a pretty good series. I felt really good about it. Mariners aren't a good team, but I feel like those are games that the Dodgers have been losing against really shitty teams, the Cubs, the Angels. The Reds. So I liked that one. We had an off day on Thursday. Friday's game. Before that game, even better news. Bellinger posted a video on his Instagram story showing him running. He looked to be I would say that was probably like maybe 70% he was running at, 70 to 80% compared to the 50, 60% we saw last time. Dodgers also claimed outfielder Travis Blankenhorn from the Minnesota Twins and put May on the 60-day IL. I don't really know if there's anything much about Blankenhorn. I don't know I don't even know what the move was made for, but
I don't know. I mean he's only 24, so I'm assuming they see something. And I know future Dodgers, I think on Twitter was excited about Blankenhorn, but I don't know how long he's gonna be here. I mean somebody's gonna have to get DFA too.
Yeah, the roster's kind of filling up. They're gonna have to figure it out with guys coming back. Gonsolin should be back soon, coming off the 60-day. Right. But that was that Friday game against the Marlins.
Alcantara, it was. So I had
that
texted
was a
you.
Weird game.
I was like, Muncy's gonna hit a home run. Bank on it. He did that. Thank you, Muncy, for making me look good. I also said Lux was gonna hit 2 home runs. That didn't happen. He hit a double though, so that was cool.
I mean, it was also, I think we talked about that Alcantara, he's a good pitcher. It was really the first good pitching that they had seen. I mean, obviously they only played 2 games against the Mariners, but it was the first one of the
Kikuchi was pitching pretty well too though.
Yeah, Kikuchi fucking shoved it up the Dodgers when he pitched against them. So
Dodgers and lefties don't mix.
They did not look very good, but hey, they found the way to win. So that's what you got to do. Even when you suck, find a way. When you can't hit them, find ways to beat them. But this one, more so than anything, was just a weird day for Kershaw. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned. He only walked 1, and he had 11 strikeouts. He was striking out a ton, but also just giving up a ton of hits. Gave up that 3-run home run to Duvall, gave up the 2-out base hit.
You couldn't get Rosas out.
Huh?
He couldn't get Rojas out.
Yeah, no. He just like, it was weird. Same with Cooper. He couldn't get Cooper out either. But yeah, it was weird because he tied a season high 11 strikeouts, and he also tied a season high with 5 earned runs allowed. The craziest thing to me though was he had 22 swings and misses, were the most ever on his slider from that game in his career. So he had the most swings and misses ever on his slider, yet he was still getting kind of lit up. I think the slider was working.
That's just odd.
Not sure how much everything else was. Yeah, because usually when his slider's on, no one's really doing much of anything to him. So curveball got hit a couple times. I think he left a couple hangers.
His fastball was missing his spots though.
Yeah,
usually
and that's
on the corners and in, and he was throwing it over the plate, and that's when Duvall smacked that home run.
Yeah, that's usually when Kershaw can get himself into some trouble because he doesn't have much velocity on that fastball. I kind of feel like the biggest bummer the thing that stuck out to me the most this game was Pollock leaving the game after he had that RBI base hit in the bottom of the second, and then Barnes doubled and Pollock had to go from first to third on the play. When he got to third, he had to leave the game. Looked like he was trying to convince the trainers to stay in.
Yeah, he was lobbying to stay in. Yeah,
trainers wanted nothing to do with it. Said nope,
Not
you're
worth
coming
it.
out of the game. So he left with a hamstring strain after reaching third base. That was his first start since hurting it the previous Friday. So he did end up on the IL with that. Hopefully he will be back soon because he was definitely finding it at the plate too. And so that one was a bummer. Yeah, Muncy, like you said, he hit the home run in this one, his 8th of the season, 3rd game in a row. That dude, I don't think anyone has been hotter than Max Muncy as of now. He has just absolutely torn it up. He's over the last week since our last podcast recording. In 6 games, he's 9 for 21 with a 429 batting average, 1377 OPS with 6 runs, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. And he's hitting 311 in May. So Muncy has found his bat, and all my bitching about him hitting in the cleanup spot has been for nothing. So I'm very happy for him. We needed that. I feel like when Muncy's going, the Dodgers look really good. And maybe that's just because of where he hits in the lineup. If your cleanup hitter is not really doing much, it's kind of hard to get going, but he's been getting going, and the Dodgers have been following not too far behind. So they come out of that one with a 9-6 win. Jansen, impressive as hell in that one. He threw back-to-back 97-mile-per-hour pitches and struck out Corey Dickerson with a 96.8 mile-per-hour pitch, which is the 2nd fastest strikeout pitch for him since the start of the 2017 season, including playoffs. So
pitching angry.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, what gets him going, but it's working.
It was, I forgot where I saw it, but someone said that he's going to just give max effort and pitch angry, and that's what he's been doing.
Hey, it's working. Again, he's been another big piece in May. 3 games, 3 saves. Well, not over the last week. 3 games, 3 saves over 3 1/3. He's only given up 1 hit. He's actually only given up 2 hits all of May and 7 in a 3rd inning. So no earned runs in Mays. He is walking guys a little bit, but hey, if they're going to ground into double plays or strike out, not too much of a big deal. So if we can keep Jansen, keep him going, it'll always be a good day because we all know that bullpen's a little sketchy. But they've been a lot better. They have been so much better as of late.
Clevenger's pitched well. I think even Dennis Santana had pitched okay.
Yeah, he had Dennis Santana's weird to me. Like the dude gets to 2 outs and then just like completely falls apart. It's the weirdest thing. Like that happened to him the other night. He got the first 2 outs and then he gave up like 2 hits and a walk to load the bases. So I don't know what's going on with them there. Another kind of weird stat that JP Hoonstrud tweeted out, that Blake Trinan has yet to allow an earned run when pitching on 0's day rest. So apparently just throw Blake Trinan out there every day and he just won't give up a run. Give him a day off and he sucks. It's weird.
Or he's going to end up like Brandon Morrow, who can't pitch anymore.
Yeah, because they blow out. Yeah, they blow out his arm. Good old Dodgers. But that was another big one. Another big win for the Dodgers. Kept it going 3 in a row. And then, of course, Before Saturday's game, that's when we found out about the Albert Pujols deal. They signed him, but the Dodgers also acquired Yashimoto Tsutsugo from the Rays for a player to be named later, a cash consideration. To make room for him on the roster, they moved Rios to the 60-day IL. I know you're excited about Tsutsugo. You kind of want to touch on a little bit what we can expect or hope.
So basically, the Dodgers were in on him when he not defected, but when he came over from Japan to the United States. I was hoping they would get him because he has big power. His profile kind of resembles Jock Peterson a little bit, but he doesn't strike out as much. So he's pretty good at contact to the ball, but it hasn't really worked out here so far. But I mean, apparently the Dodgers had shown him side-by-side footage of, what he was doing well in Japan and what went wrong over here. And it was like completely different. So, I mean, the Rays obviously are great at developing pitching, not so much hitting. So now that he's here and the Dodgers are known for developing hitting like Muncy, Turner, Taylor, etc., hopefully they can unlock. I'm not saying he's going to be some great dude, but hopefully they'll unlock something from Tsutsugo. So I'm really excited to see him because I know he's got big power, and I'm excited to see him hit some bombs.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that signing too. That one caught me kind of off guard a little bit as well. Just
especially after Pujols, because I was just saying Pujols, I was like,
and this was before Seager's injury too, so it's like they didn't. Yeah, so that part to me was like, okay.
But again, those two off the bench much more than
what we've currently got. Yeah, no, they're definitely upgrades there. Because the bench, unfortunately, outside of like Beatty, Taylor, and
outside of Bailey.
Well, I guess Taylor hasn't been on the bench much of lately, but yeah. There's really not much going on there outside of Beatty, so that'll be nice. I did read that the Rays didn't give him much of a chance to get adjusted after coming back from Japan and trying to get situated again this season. So we'll see what the Dodgers can do. Big fan, like you say, of how the Dodgers kind of work with players. So I think that'll be exciting. But that night, the Dodgers had their second game against the Marlins and just took it to them. They won 7-0. Bauer absolutely shoved because that's just what he does. In my opinion, he is clearly the best pitcher on our team right now. Went 7 innings pitch.
Yeah. Not even close.
Yeah, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts on 113 pitches. He becomes the first pitcher.
That's the thing, though. That's the only thing he needs to improve his efficiency pitching. If he can do that, then he can start going 8 or 9.
Yeah, the one thing with big guys, like big strikeout guys like Buehler and Bauer, is when you don't pitch to contact very much, you tend to kind of, when you're always striking out guys all the time, especially like Bauer, we saw it, he gets fouled off a lot, and then he'll get that like cutter in there or whatever it is that works for him. Sometimes guys will foul off 3-4 pitches and then he gets a strikeout. So that's the only thing that can be a little concerning coming into a 162 game season. But again, I don't think there's anyone in baseball who probably takes care. No, I don't want to say takes care of their body, but probably puts their own time and money and effort into constantly doing all of the technology readings he does, analysts he has to make sure he's healthy. I mentioned it, I think, on last week's episode. He does his vlogs and he'll talk about being in the red or green before a start and what that can mean for him. But with that outing, he became the first pitcher in modern era with 70 plus strikeouts and fewer than 30 hits allowed through his first 9 starts. He's right now doing it at a level that is insane. Obviously there's guys like Cole and Burns who are striking out guys. But right now Trevor Bauer leads the NL in strikeouts and in innings pitched, and leads the league in complete games as well as games started. So he's doing his thing. I think for him, it's just a matter of being healthy. I think you and I were both a little nervous at first from the signing. Like we didn't quite know what we were getting with Trevor Bauer because it was coming off 2020. But I will say MLB not ever cracking down on a pine tar and sticky substance, I think is a big help to that.
I will say I think Bauer was going to be better than people thought he was. I think people thought, his ERA is going to be over 4. I thought his ERA was going to be in the high 2s, maybe low 3s. And so far he's pitching in the low 2s. So but I mean, it's only a month and a half.
220,
so I mean, if he can stay between 220 and 260, 270, I would have no issue with that at all.
I mean, that's and it's crazy to think like he's the number 2 pitcher on the team. Like with the way they have it lined up, like he comes after
Yeah.
Kershaw, and it's just crazy to think about because like most people would kill for that as a number 1 on their team.
Hell yeah.
There was I don't want to say there wasn't a ton of excitement because there obviously was. The Dodgers put up 7 runs. This was a good one because it was
It
just
seemed like it came late.
yeah, it didn't get started till the
Like they were
4th
kind of
inning.
flat. Yeah.
Yeah, they scored their first one in the 4th inning and it came off a bases loaded walk. So it wasn't even like Turner let off the inning with a base hit, Muncy singled, Smith walked, Taylor walked. But then Taylor walked home that run. Dodgers had a 1-0 lead, but immediately after that was that bullshit ejection on Matt Beatty. That was insane. I cannot believe he got ejected that quickly. First of all, it was a horrible call. Was not a good call. Ball was out of the zone. And we don't know 100% what he said, but from video, based on what his wife tweeted out, it looked like all he said was "you're so bad" or "you're bad." The worst thing I feel like he could have said is "you're so blind." That's what some people thought they saw. Either way, like the fact he got tossed that quickly was pretty
He said it
wild.
in a very calm manner.
Yeah,
So
he didn't even
just
like
let it
cuss.
go.
He just like it's one of those things that
He
I'm
didn't even
like,
get animated. He was just like, that's bad.
yeah,
Or
like
whatever he said.
if he had walked away after that, they should have just let him go. Like if he had kept going or like started walking, like putting his like chest to chest to the umpire, that's different. But my biggest thing is like when a batter is not in the face of an umpire, like demeaning them, cussing them out, and doing all this stuff, like let's just let it go. Like let it move on. Like they're there to win. Literally, someone like Beatty, who's had his career up and down, up and down, up and down, like not coming through in a big moment like that, it's not going to get him sent down. But for some guys, like it could get him sent down, and you're giving him a called strike 3. So it's like I understand the frustration from players like that. Like it does affect their income, it affects their livelihood, all that kind of stuff. So that sucked. Lux
I
came
actually
through.
missed where the pitch was, but was it as bad as the one on Mookie Betts in the Mariners series?
It was
Because that was way
it,
inside.
it wasn't. It was so this one was outside on Beatty, but I would say maybe like 2.5 inches probably off the plate. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
It's borderline the same exact calls we've seen all year that are getting called on the outside that just aren't there. Is what it looked like to me. So yeah, that wasn't great. And then if that was in the bottom of the 4th, and then the bottom of the 5th, Betts gets the leadoff walk, and then Seager gets hit on the hand. So in a matter of like 1 inning, I guess you could say, the Dodgers had lost 2 guys out of the game. Muncy came through though, got the RBI base hit because that's all he's freaking doing right now is hitting. Taylor bases loaded. He saw that couple times. Taylor actually saw bases loaded in back-to-back innings. First inning he walked home a run. Next one he grounded out but drove home. Taylor, one of the better players on the team right now too, absolutely killing it. He got things started in the bottom of the 8th. We saw DJ Peters come through with a bases loaded RBI single or 2 RBIs. So 2-run base hit with the bases loaded. That was really cool to see from him because he kind of has struggled in every single opportunity he's had at the plate. My biggest takeaway from this was obviously Bauer shoved, but I was very, 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 very happy with Joe Kelly. It was his first appearance since the Angels game, and he had a very easy 1-2-3 inning. He looked fantastic. I think I said it on the podcast last week that I don't want to judge Kelly based off that one outing against the Angels because he did not have any rehab starts. He didn't have really a true time to get back and get going again. So we saw him again on Saturday or on Sunday, and he pitched back-to-back games, 6 up, 6 down. So if Joe Kelly is giving us any type of like, this guy's going to be pretty decent, the guy we saw before the injury in 2020, like the one that was,
you don't have to be great, just be serviceable. That's all we need.
And in what he has shown these last 2 outings, granted against the Marlins, he still looked really good. He didn't walk guys, he wasn't giving up hard contact, and he was throwing 96, 97, I believe. So I was very, very happy with that from Kelly. And that leads us into Sunday. Before the game, that's when Seager went on the IL. Ruiz was recalled. And then, of course, because the Dodgers just keep taking hits, Taylor was scratched due to right wrist soreness. However, on Monday night, last night, he did come in to play second base in the 9th inning. So I'm going to take that as a good sign. And Robert said he was expected to play third base tonight. So let's all hope that he's out there playing because
finally playing third base?
Yeah, I guess so. They're giving Turner the day off, which
he needs it. He needs it. Yeah,
he probably needs it more than anyone else. He's been one of the worst hitters
Yes.
on the team.
Yes.
Yeah, he had 4 hits over 6 games for 443 OPS plus, and he's only hitting 229 in May. So we all know how important Turner is. So get him that day off, let him chill, and let Taylor take over because Taylor's been hitting really well. That game on Sunday was a bummer because it was a bullpen game. We knew that was going to happen. It was the first time that we had to see the Dodgers kind of figure out what they were going to do without having May in there. Off days had helped us prior to this. This one bummed me out a bit. It didn't mean much because I was like, it's a bullpen game. As long as people don't get lit up and the arms look good, like I'm going to take that as a positive. We had already won the series. We won back-to-back series. So that one was tough for me, especially because they really got the run because of Noisy's error to start the inning in the top of the 5th. It was a kind of a harder play. But I still think it's one you make as a big leaguer, second base big leaguer. You make that play, you get Lopez out, and then maybe Duvall never hits that 3-run home run. I mean, he did have his 1-out double in the 2nd that came around to score. So, I mean, if he didn't have the error, that would have been nice, but he also did help the Dodgers get on board. But I liked what I saw from the bullpen that day. Just quickly on their numbers: Nelson, an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Vesia, who actually looked really good.
He was the only one who can get Jazz out.
Yeah, Vesia looked really, really good. 1 innings pitch, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Santana looked good in this one. 1 1/3, 1 hit, no runs, 1 strikeout. And then Uceta, he's the one who gave up the 3-run bomb. However, none of those went down as earned runs because of the error. So he went 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 runs, no earned, and 4 strikeouts. So Uceta's been stepping up when he needs to. Duvall kind of being a pain in the ass to the Dodgers that game, hitting that 3 home run in the top of the 5th, and then in the bottom of the 5th. I don't know how much I'm going to credit Duvall's arm, more so the fact that he was just playing shallow. I also don't know if Mookie got a bad break at 7 or at 2nd, because he absolutely dusted Mookie's ass at home. Like, it wasn't even close.
Honestly, this is just what I'm seeing personally. I'm probably wrong, but it doesn't look like Mookie's running all that hard right now.
I am still wondering if there's something going on with the back or lingering or whatever it may be, because I honestly don't know.
But then again, he jumped in the air.
Yeah. Well,
like the acrobat.
He said that just happened out of instinct. Like, he didn't even think about it. So I don't know if he did that and like it could maybe have not been so great on the back. Like, maybe he's still hurting and he just did that out of instinct. Either way, Duvall was playing very shallow, but like it wasn't even close. Mookie was out by like a good few feet. So that was unfortunate because that would have been the tying run in that game. But again, really biggest takeaway from that is Kelly coming out, pitching on back-to-back games for the first time this season and setting down the Marlins in order on 13 pitches. And then another big one was White taking over. He had that 1-2-3 inning with some help from Lux, who made that great barehanded play to throw out Jazz, our guy, good old Jazz.
He also hit 97 on the gun, which is wild. So good job.
White did? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he got repaid on Monday by getting sent down and being optioned. He was one of the better arms, I felt like, in the bullpen, so kind of bummed. But they also probably do want to get him some more consistent work, and they are bringing back those big league arms. Great news, David Price, who missed 17 games due to the hamstring. He's actually back sooner than I thought anyone thought he would be. He was activated from the IL, and Mitch White was sent down to make room for him was optioned to make room for him on the roster. I'm sure Mitch White will probably be on the taxi squad when they head to San Francisco, if not Uceta. And then before the game, the Dodgers activated Pujols and Tsutsugo, and optioned Vesia and Kyber Ruiz. Kind of saw those come in. And then Gonsolin was moved to the 60-day IL to make room for Pujols, and Gonsolin's stint is retroactive to April 1st. So the soonest he can come back is May 31st. So good news there. We should have Goose back on June 1st if all goes according to plan. Walker Buehler, weird game last night. Pitched a gem, but like had some really weird innings going for it. Had that one really weird inning where he just walked the bases loaded. But the Dodgers did win that one 3-1. Buehler went 7 innings pitched, gave up 1 hit, no runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts on 98 pitches, which is the second most pitches he's thrown this season. Fun fact, he's also never lost to the Diamondbacks in his career. And I think last night was like his 9th career start against them. So this start was a big one for not like in the sense of the Dodgers needed it, but it just to show how dominant the starting pitching is. This start was the Dodgers' major league leading 24th quality start of the year. Urias, Bauer, and Buehler allowed 2 hits or fewer in their most recent starts. Like, I'm not sure many people understand just how impressive 24 quality starts is in mid-May. Like, that's insane. Like, these starting pitchers are doing insane stuff out there. It sucks we don't have May to continue doing it with them because he was putting up impressive numbers.
Yeah.
But damn, this starting rotation is looking pretty special. And we've seen some really special rotations with the Dodgers. And this one is looking like maybe one of the better ones we've maybe even ever seen. But we talked about this a little bit earlier. We saw Pujols take his first at bat as a Dodger. He flew out to center to end the inning in the bottom of the first. Will Smith leading off the bottom of the second, following his heroes at bat in that bottom half of the first, led off the inning with a home run, his 4th home run of the season, first one of May. So hopefully he can get going with the power numbers. Then we saw Pujols come through with his first hit as a Dodger, first RBI as a Dodger when he singled up the middle with 2 outs. God, that was so great to see. 2 outs with a guy on third. Dodgers have been okay with 2 outs this year, have not been good with guys on third base. So that was beautiful. Like you had mentioned, the 3 straight walks from Buehler in the 4th with 1 out. Very weird considering he had only walked 3 hitters all season and had now walked 4
like
in this
Joe
one.
Davis pointed out, once Mark Pryor came out to talk to him, he pretty much shut it down from there. So
yeah, Mark Pryor with the clutch mound visit. That doesn't go anywhere in the stat sheet, but damn, that was pretty impressive because he came out and talked, and Buehler did what he does best, and he got the strikeout and the flyout to end the inning. The 8th inning got a little sketchy there. Gonzalez came in, gave up a 1-out walk and that infield base hit to Lux we talked about. Basically 2 plays in a row, almost identical, kind of sliding. Could have gotten to it. First one he stops from getting to left field. Second one he does not. And then Gonzalez gets the double play ball, and Lux can only get the lead runner just the way the infield was set up. It was tough for him to get to second and then throw out the runner at first. So big man came in, did his thing. Turner made that nice play in the hole. Yeah. That was a really nice play from Turner, actually, to get that. I was a little worried, I was a little worried because it would have been a tie game. At that point, I was a little worried he was going to throw it away just because, like, going to his left that far into the hole, we've seen him kind of do that, and sometimes his arm just isn't there. But hell of a play from him. And then Lux came through in the bottom of the 8th with Smith on third and 2 outs. He just keeps freaking killing the ball with runners in scoring position in 2 outs. He gave the Dodgers a 3-1 lead. In 15 at-bats this season, Lux is batting .400 with 8 RBIs with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. So I think they're kind of using him to his advantage by keeping him lower in the lineup.
Yeah.
Getting those opportunities. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love that the dude is clutch with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. So
even when he was hitting bad, that's the time he decided to hit good.
So. That was like the only time he was hitting good. So who knows? Yeah. Seems to be working for them. Did you have anything else on the games you wanted to touch on?
Not the game specifically, but more so just some player, just Lux and Beatty, really. That's all I had. But so last week I said Lux was going to get hot, and I think he's been just that. The home run against the Mariners late in the game really turned things around for this team. Because they had seemed like pretty dead. In the last week, he's hitting .320 with an OPS of .913. And in the month of May, he's currently hitting .314 with an OPS over 800. He's even taken 3 walks in the last 3 games. Now, that doesn't seem like it's a big deal. But
for him, it is.
It was looking like he was going to be Edwin Rios levels of bad as far as walking goes. But he's taking his walks, which is nice to see. He looks extremely comfortable at the plate right now. And as long as he can continue not to chase and take his walks, then the hits and the good contact should follow. The key word there is should follow. But for right now, I think he's in his groove, which is really nice to see. He's hit some doubles. He's even hit some in the gap that were caught that could be doubles. So he's starting to hit the ball pretty well. Matt Beatty, Okay, so the thing I like most about Matt Beatty is he seems to have a little bit of like Chase Utley in him, and what I mean is he's not afraid of getting hit. I think he welcomes it. Beatty's just willing to do whatever it takes to get on base. So like most players will move out the way if the pitch is close, but Beatty will turn into it. He'll even stick out his elbow if it's close enough. So uh, I like that he's willing to just do whatever it takes to get on base, and he fouls off a lot of pitches. So just in case the pitcher makes a mistake, he's able to get a base hit. And the one thing Matt Beatty has done extremely well this year is hit with runners in scoring position. So um, yeah, like we mentioned, he's the only person on the bench who's doing well. So thankfully now we'll have Pujols and Tsutsugo. Hopefully they should be doing better than the others. And if the bench is doing well and the bullpen is decent, the Dodgers will just keep winning.
Yeah, I think the bench is a big part of it. The starting lineup, I think, is they're kind of figuring it out, but at times they are going to need the bench to step up.
Also, I wanted to say, okay, so last night, I mean, it didn't matter because it ended up working out, but I wasn't a fan of the 4-out save. Just because Jansen said he was going max effort and pitching angry, I thought he would probably run out of gas. So I would have preferred trying to get the last out of the eighth, or if you wanted to go Jansen because he's been the better pitcher, get out of the big spot and then have trying and close. But again, it ended up working, so it's really just splitting hairs. I wasn't a really big fan of that decision. I thought it was going to blow up in their face. Almost, but
if Jansen is gonna if Jansen's gonna exert any energy, it's gonna be with those daddy hacks he was taking last night at the plate, because that dude was trying to hit some bombs last night. He was like, yeah, he was trying to hit everything.
Laughing on the bench. It was great.
Yeah, it's seeing Jansen bat is always a good time. But to move on,
I forgot he batted left-handed, so when he got to the batter's box, I was like, "What the hell?"
I think he's a switch hitter, if I remember correctly. I think he's a switch hitter, and he was like 3 for 6 as a lefty. It's weird because I mean he played, because he was a catcher coming up in the system, so the hitting just wasn't really there. But I mean, it's going to be there a lot more than a lot of other pitchers. Yesterday, I had sent out a tweet for some mailbag questions, and we got a couple. The first one came from D Flores 12383, and they asked why have they not brought back Yasiel. So as we all know, Puig is a free agent. He's playing with a team down in the Mexico League, and anyone that knows me knows I am not a fan of Yasiel Puig, and I do not want him anywhere near this team. They're not bringing him back for the same reason they got rid of him, in my opinion. He was just a clubhouse kind of like, I hate to use the word cancer, but that's kind of what it felt like. I will never get over that Andy McCullough article that he wrote in the LA Times, I think it was, if I remember correctly, a couple of years ago when Puig returned to Dodger Stadium to play as a Red on Jackie Robinson Day, I think it was, because I know Jock hit that walk-off home run, but he showed up, and it just, that article just did not sit well with me. Guys like Seager, Kershaw, Turner did not want to or could not find anything positive to say about Puig. I think his time is up with the Dodgers. I know the fan base loves him, and I know that like the potential's there, and we've seen the talent he has, and the right-handed bat would be huge. I just think he's worn his welcome out with the Dodgers, not to mention he has that case against him right now, that sexual assault case. So I'm not sure how many MLB teams are going to be picking him up until they have more information on that. But I just, even without that, like, let's say that never happens, I don't think the Dodgers are going to go back down that path with Puig ever again. It was a reason why they got rid of him.
So even in that article, they were saying that, everybody looks at their card, and Puig never followed his card. He kind of just stood wherever he wanted to. He was forever missing the cutoff man because, I mean, he does have a strong arm, but he kept trying to throw everybody out and making errors. So it just seemed like he didn't listen. He was doing what he wanted to do. And then, like you mentioned, the fact that Kershaw, Turner, and Seager couldn't find anything nice to say really speaks volumes. I mean, there are people who are like, well, Bellinger had something nice to say. And I was like, yeah, well, Bellinger's high. Who cares? So the fact that, like, your three veterans and leaders of this team couldn't find anything positive to say just says that he has worn out his welcome. Also, he's just not very good anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much is there. I was always bummed about Puig because you could see the potential there, and I always wanted to see him
Oh,
reach it.
absolutely.
He's got a special talent. If he ends up with another team, good for him. I think he was always good for baseball. Everyone wants to talk about Tatis breaking all the unwritten rules. Well, Yasiel Puig was Tatis before Tatis was. Everyone just hated Yasiel Puig for it because baseball wasn't as accepting of it. So that's it there. I don't think that changes anytime soon. There's no way this is right. I'm sorry. You can leave this in the podcast, but there is no way the Dodgers lineup is coming out 6 hours before first pitch because I just got the thing that it's out. That is wild. But Tsutsugo's making his Dodger debut
Let's
today.
go.
If this is real, because I have never seen in my life a lineup come out 6 hours before first pitch. That is wild.
Who posted it?
The MLB app just sent me a notification. It's got Betts, Muncy, Taylor, Smith, Beatty, Pujols, Tsutsugo, Lux, Urias. So we'll see. And none of the Dodger blog pages have posted it yet. So we'll see.
Yeah,
That's
I
weird.
usually the first person I see posted is usually Blake. I haven't seen him post it yet.
Yeah,
so
I usually wait for those but usually you never see them come in this early. So we'll see what happens. The next question this one was a little interesting because I feel like we've touched on it maybe just between like text messages, but drunk_Obi-Wan Juan said, how do you guys feel about the shorter off season across multiple sports? Is it safe to assume it resulted in an increase of injuries? And like, I won't even hesitate with this. 100% yes. I think we've seen it in baseball. We had the not so much extended, like shorter off season, but way more intense. Actually, never mind. Davis A just tweeted it out. I guess we are doing a very early lineup today. So there you go.
Wait, so you said Tsutsugo was in left?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do this. I'm ready.
So I 100% do think that that is.
Did they say who's pitching for the Diamondbacks yet?
No.
Is it the dude they just called up?
It's still to be decided.
Okay.
Yeah. I 100% agree that it's a big result in injuries. I think baseball more than anything, when they only played 60 games, most teams only played, well, I guess half the league only played 60 games last year. You're asking for them to come back and do a lot. So then get 2 months off after ramping it up high speed, then coming back doing spring training. We hear all the time that spring training is just way too long as is. It should not be that long. Too many games, more ways for there to be injuries. So yeah, I think this was bound to happen in 2021 in baseball, maybe more so than any other sport, because baseball was like the real sport that like truly got affected of this. Basketball had an insanely short offseason. I will give them that, but they did get most of their season in before a decent amount of their season in before the pandemic hit. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that these injuries are a big thing. I'm hoping come 2022, we're kind of past all that, and obviously there's always gonna be injuries, but maybe less.
So when baseball had to start and they stopped and they had like a little break until June, and then they finished out the season, but it's the start and stop, and then them not being able to fully recuperate their bodies. I don't think players have had enough time to really recuperate their bodies and take some time off to recoup and then get started again. It kind of was just like, okay, we started late, then we finished, and then I've got to rest a little bit, but then we're right back on it because the season's going to start on time. So it's rough, but it's 100% the reason why there's probably a lot of injuries, especially with like hamstrings and other things. But like you mentioned, hopefully in 2022, since things seem to be semi-normal, that we'll see less injuries. It's definitely needed because there are a ton of people out.
Yeah, and it sucks. The sport's always more fun when everyone's in there. But thank you for those questions. We'll try and get more and take more questions like that every week just because it's fun, especially if the Dodgers are winning, makes it a little bit easier to not have to kind of sit around and talk as much about what's going on. But that actually is perfect because it transitions into our injury updates. Cody Bellinger is expected to go on a rehab assignment sometime either Friday or this weekend. So great news there. Hopefully he is back sometime next week, maybe to go face the Astros. That'd be pretty fun. McKinstry was supposed to go on a rehab assignment in OKC on Sunday or Monday, and it has been pushed back. The last I heard anything was Sunday. They didn't say why it got pushed back, but he's now expected to start midweek. Again, last I heard was this Sunday, so I don't know if that has changed again. Gratterall on Sunday threw long toss at Dodger Stadium, and he's currently on the IL with forearm issues. Tony Gonsolin will throw a 3-inning sim game this week in Arizona. Before they moved him to the 60-day IL, Robert said they're comfortable activating Gonsolin once he gets to 4 innings. So even if he does get to 4 innings, they do have to wait until May 31st to bring him back. That's really it on injuries for the series look ahead. We've got to finish up these 3 games against the D-backs before heading on the road to face the Giants over the weekend. It'll be the first time we face the hated ones. This rivalry is weird because I feel like I don't care all that much about it, but like it's the Dodgers and Giants. It's not that I don't care about the rivalry. I just think the Giants have an incredibly boring team. Like there's nobody on that team that I find interesting or fun to watch. I will say I would like to face Alex Wood. I think that'd be fun to see how he would do. And then I know Jake McGee's over there as well. So
yeah, I like watching Yastrzemski. I think he's pretty fun.
Yeah, Yastrzemski can be. I guess I just don't think of him because he's a little bit older. He's like one of those weird old young players, but not young. But he's actually really good.
The dude from the White Sox, Mercedes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the Giants. Dodgers could be in first place by the time they head into San Francisco, depending on how the rest of the series goes. So let's keep it going.
The Giants are playing well though.
They are.
I don't know how, but they're playing well. Yeah.
Eventually, I think that has to fall apart. I don't think that can last the whole season. Or they're going to trade away those guys that are on like 1-year deals, those pitchers, and start rebuilding.
Yeah.
So, but with that said, that's the series, what we're going to be facing. Did you want to try and make a prediction on this one? How we're going to finish up the series against the D-backs and how we're going to play against the Giants?
Well, I mean, I said they go 6-3, so they need to go 2-1.
Yeah.
Well, they need to go 1-2.
No, 1-2, and then
they need to go 1-2. And then we go to San Francisco before coming back to face San Francisco, right?
No, we go to San Francisco and then we go to Houston.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah. Houston we'll record before the first Houston game.
I'm not looking forward to these next week because I hate
the Giants play us so damn well. Yeah, and they always play us so damn well.
Like you said, the Giants are pretty boring. Even when I go to Giants games, and I love going to baseball games, I just sit there like, I don't enjoy watching you guys play whatsoever. So this is going to be tough to get through, and obviously the Astros are the Astros. So, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, not looking forward to these next 2 series.
So does that mean you don't want to make a prediction on the Giants series?
Are
we going to sweep? Yes or no? Okay. As long as we win the series, that's all I want. I literally don't care about anything except for winning series. Win the series, you make playoffs. That's really all I'm concerned with. So, with that said, do you want to lead us into the minor league minute and give us some of those updates?
So, just try to go over this really quick. So podcast favorite Josiah Gray didn't pitch this week. He was scheduled to pitch, but then was scratched. A lot of us thought he had been called up, but turns out he was hurt. He's been shut down for 7 to 10 days with shoulder impingement, and that is a tendon rubbing against the shoulder blade, causing inflammation and pain. So hopefully it's something serious because all these injuries around the league and in the minors suck. In the last week, Michael Busch has hit 292 with 3 home runs, 3 RBIs. He's walked 4 times, but he's also struck out 6. He cut down the strikeouts from the first week. He actually had 3 all week until the last game where he went 3 for 6, but struck out 3 times for all 3 outs. But another really good week of contact. So far this season, he's hitting 277, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, OPS of 1.031. So he's crushing the ball. And he's going to be the Dodgers starting DH next year. Just so you guys know. If there is a DH,
there better be a damn DH.
Pitcher Andre Jackson, whose hair we fell in love with in spring training, he pitched 8 innings this week, 2 starts, 4 innings each. He gave up 3 runs in those 8 innings, but he had 11 strikeouts and he walked 3. The 3 runs and 3 walks were in his actual second start. So his first start was 4 innings of no runs, and no walks, and he struck out 8, I believe, or 6, I believe. So, he had a really good outing and then kind of a bad outing. But I think he's looked really good. In 12 innings, he has 15 strikeouts. He has 3 walks. His ERA is 3.75, so it's a little high, but he has definitely flash potential. Ryan Pepiot went 4 innings again. I think it's a theme early on with all the top Dodgers pitching prospects is not going so far into games, just kind of building them up slowly. But he tallied 7 strikeouts in those 4 innings. He gave up 1 run. The fastball and changeup combo is as good as advertised. It's absolutely nasty, and it keeps hitters off balance. He's going to need to develop a third breaking pitch to stick around in the rotation, but he's off to a great start so far this year. 8 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, and only 2 runs allowed. Clayton Beader made 2 appearances this week, only an inning each appearance. So it's 3 appearances, 3 innings each. But in his 2 appearances, he only gave 1 hit. He struck out 4. In 1 appearance, he even struck out the top pick of 2020, Spencer Torkelson, with a fastball at 95 miles an hour. So far in 3 innings, so far in 3 appearances, 3 innings, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, showcasing a good fastball and curveball. I'm not sure why he's not pitching more. If it's them making him a reliever type thing, that I'm not sure why he's not relieving, because he's actually starting these games. But so I don't know what's going on. But if he's going to be a reliever, then he can pretty much shoot through this system pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, that was it for the minor league minute.
Cool. So just keep killing it in the minor leagues, because yeah, I'm interested to see what some of those arms are going to do, how quickly they'll shoot up through the system, or if they take them a little slower. But thank you for that. Ray, if you want to finish us off with the MLB news.
All right. A lot of injuries this week, so we'll start with those. Huascar Ynoa, the Braves pitcher who hits tanks, is going to miss multiple months after breaking his hand punching the dugout bench. This is the perfect time to suggest me and my friends' great solution to this is a punchable drywall, like a designated drywall portion of the tunnel. So like you can actually destroy something without sacrificing a water cooler or your hand. So hopefully MLB finally gets their crap together.
That made me so mad. I'm like, come on, dude, you're a pitcher. Like, you're a pitcher. Why are you punching anything with your pitching hand? But yes, I agree. I know some teams have bought punching bags.
Hurt.
Punching bags are a good idea, but there's something about the satisfaction of actually destroying
like punching a hole
piece of drywall. Yeah. I think that's really going to help.
I think that idea would work. It's cheap, easy to fix.
Yeah. Michael Conforto and Jeff McNeil of the Mets are both on the IL with hamstring strains. Don't exactly know the total severity of those, but they both are out at least 10 days. Giancarlo Stanton is on the IL with a quad strain for the Yankees. So is Aaron Hicks with a torn tendon sheath in his wrist, and Gleyber Torres is on the COVID IL. So the Yankees having some injury issues there. Mike Trout suffered a right calf strain last night. He is not on the IL. He previously had the injury in 2019, only missing 3 games without an IL stint. So hopefully this is about that same severity, but they will do further tests today. Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks is on the IL with an elbow sprain, and that's all the major injuries for this week. A couple transactions, or I guess one transaction. The Rays traded Hunter Strickland, reliever, to the Angels for cash and a player to be named later. An awesome story from this week. James Caprillion, Southern California native, UCLA graduate, made his first career start, and he got the win for the A's against Boston last week. He threw 5 innings in that start. He credited part of his success. He's centering himself on the spot between the third base dugout and home plate, where his mom would sit for his games. She tragically passed away a few years ago due to breast cancer. And a couple more pitching records. Corbin Burns breaks the record for most consecutive strikeouts to start a season before walking about it, which is 58. Kenley Jansen was the previous record holder for that. And he also broke the overall record, which was previously held by Kurt Schilling of 56. And then last night, Garrett Cole broke that record again with 61 strikeouts between walks. And that's all the major MLB news from this week.
So I wish Corbin Burns would have pitched that Dodger series, because I feel like he wouldn't have gotten the record, because Muncy definitely would have walked.
Muncy would have broken the record. Well, I think Garrett Cole has now set the new record for, I think, not since the season started.
Between
just like since his last
61
walk,
strikeouts now,
that. Strikeouts are at an all-time high in baseball. So records are cool, but watching guys strike out this much is not fun. But
no, not
perfect.
Real fast, what did you guys think of the Manny Machado play?
I don't know if I care, to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
I get why people say it's a dirty play, but it's also like, what do you want him to do? He's not going to stand there straight up. He's not just the job is to not let him be tagged. Like a lot of people, I don't know. I know it's controversial and a lot of people say it's dirty. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's kind of just part of the play. break up a double
I think
play.
I think it has a lot to do with the history of what he's done.
I think
on
it's
the
because
base
it's
paths.
Manny Machado. Yeah. I think if
Fair
it's
enough.
any other player, it's
Yeah.
probably like, especially because it happened on Sunday Night Baseball. It happened while everyone's watching. It happened. It's Manny Machado. So it's kind of just one of those things that you're like, oh, you're doing it again. But I don't think I really
Yeah.
cared. Like if it happened to a Dodger, I might be pissed. But overall, like I just, I don't know. I think it's.
So I saw a lot of players saying that it's legal. He's doing his job. He was avoiding the double play. My only thing is you can still avoid the double play. He could have just kind of stopped and backpedaled, forced Edmund to run at you, and then the runner still would have been safe at first. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I listened this last night. Was it this morning? Might have been last night. I was listening to John Boy podcast about it, and they have a former player on, Trevor Plouffe, and he was like, I don't care. He's like, he did what he had to do. He broke up the double play. He's like, they did mention the pedaling backwards, and they said how the pedaling backwards could end up turning into it either running out of the base pass by accident or somehow maybe getting doubled up. So like they all were kind of like, I don't care. If it was any other player besides Manny Machado, we're probably not here talking about it anyways. So I think it's one of those things that it's just baseball's kind of changing, but Manny kind of looked at him, tapped him on the back after the play, was like, you good, everything. So I think it is what it is. It's baseball. It's going to happen from time to time. You can either, some guys drop down. We saw Machado do the hole against us. He put one knee down and then stuck his hand straight up in the air when he was running to second against us. So kind of just a weird play, but other than that, that's the episode for today. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. Make sure you check out all of our stuff at dodgeryard.com. We're trying to add some more. We got weekly recaps. We've got welcome to the show. Konu, you threw a piece up there on the prospects. Working on a couple different things, so check that out at dodgeryard.com. You can all follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Dodger Yard, and then you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Randy_Radcliffe.
And you can go to armorlinks.com/Konu, KONU, and find my social medias on there.
You can follow me at Stingray417 on Twitter.
And thank you to Milo for shaking her head so you guys could all hear her collar rattle around in the background. Other than that, we really do appreciate you guys listening in, tuning, especially those of you that stick all the way to the end. Make sure you hit that subscribe, follow button, share it, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, anything. Let us know what your thoughts are. We really do appreciate it. And as always, we hope you have a good rest of your night, morning, afternoon, evening, day, whatever it is you listen to this, and we will catch you guys next week. See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.